So we're going live in a few seconds.
Yep. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
Yeah.
5.
Yeah,
on, Jeff, where you at, man? Jeff will pop on.
Yeah. When he comes in, that is fine. But definitely glad, Buddy, that you've. It's almost been 2 years since we last had you on board, and a lot seems to have taken place in the interim. How's it been?
Oh man, let me tell you something, man. It has been like since the last talk. Let me shut this computer down here real quick. Let me put this to sleep because it's a lot to talk about here. Let me see. Okay, so I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
This been the 30th anniversary of Intro, and
Wow.
it's like the energy behind the whole movement. Just having something to fall in line with the 50th year of hip hop, just to have something, 20 years later, here comes hip hop R&B. So it's like the exact same timing of hip hop 20 years later. You have this R&B album by these three guys that just met by fate. And it's a lot of stuff that's going along with it. Like, I don't want to just cut right into the interview and start talking about it, because then I'll probably kill a lot of questions. But it was a very exciting time. I'm happy to be a part of the movement. Rest in peace to Kenny Greene, man. I wish that he could be here to enjoy this with us. But this album is not stopping. It's not stopping.
Yeah.
It's just not stopping. Not only is it not stopping, it's gaining steam.
Yeah, I mean, especially the fact that you guys were hip hop soul kind of thing. We had New Jack Swing at this time, but when you guys came through, with the whole Uptown, with Dave Hall, Novell, and the rest, you created something quite different. And who knows? It could have been even better if people think if you hadn't given Mary J. Blige My Love and Reminisce and things like that. Who knows? How much more things would have happened and stuff. But
I say yeah, and then I said, well, we still had some meat on that first album as far as singles that weren't released. We still had what I think would have been the hottest single on the whole album, which was the song "Don't Leave Me," which I'm so looking forward to this October, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the interview. But yeah. The songs that were for Mary, they work for her. God bless her, and I do think those songs right there help shape her sound. Yeah. She's dope. She's dope by herself, but I do feel like those songs that you mentioned help shape her sound.
Yeah, no, definitely. As we start, John Marie, who a legendary engineer, mixer, he was working with Teddy, did all the Bobby guy and stuff, so he's on board. Really excited that he's joining, and we actually do have Tanya as well. Tanya's a massive supporter of Intro.
You talking about TN07?
TN07, yes.
Yeah, man, that's our dude. She is like our publicist, like, so that's dope, man.
Yeah, love.
She pushed every day. There's gonna be something about Intro, and I appreciate that. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, and so there's lots of people joining. But tell me about what's happening with Intro. I mean, 30 years. That sounds like a long time, but for yourself, what does it mean for you guys? I mean, to still be doing it, because think about a lot of groups who, within that time, would just disbanded, and and especially after losing somebody as powerful as Kenny Greene, who probably, had he still been around, we would have been talking about him the same way we talk about Casey and Aaron Hall, and some of the other, some of the other massive male vocalists. But yeah, what's it been like for you guys?
You got to have passion for the music. First of all, you got to have passion for the music. You can't have passion for the noise. You can't have passion for the groupies. You can't even have passion for the money. You got to have passion for the music. And once you have passion for the music, people will feel that in you. They'll see that in you. And when we go out to perform, the people that come out, they know the words. We're singing the songs, but technically we don't even have to sing the songs because they're singing the songs so loud, you know. And yeah, just I don't even know how it's happening, but it's happening. You know, it's happening. I'm just letting it happen, and we're not going to stop. So this year, not only did the listeners take notice. I don't like to call them fans. I like to call them listeners. Not only did the listeners notice, but the record company took notice, and they're going to re-release that first album in October as if it's a brand new release on vinyl.
Wow.
So yeah, that's going on right now. I was actually on the phone with them today for over an hour, and we got a release for October of this year. So it falls right in the 30th year as well. So I'm super excited. That's going to be followed up by a vinyl tour, where similar to a book tour, but it's a music tour where people can bring the vinyl out and we sign it, or you can come see us perform and purchase our vinyl there. And it's going to be a very dope collective, something to have in your hand. It's going to be 2 discs. One is going to be orange and one is going to be green. The orange one is going to be the original first album. The second one is going to be filled with remixes, unheard remixes, just stuff like unheard of intro. It's going to be great.
So this is Atlantic that you know, did they call you guys?
Group. This was Warner Music Group.
The parent company came back to you.
The parent company, absolutely. Yep.
So they decided to say, okay, you know, after all this time, we're going to try and actually, because I think Universal have been doing that with a lot of their acts. They've been releasing, they've been re-releasing the old albums with some of the remixes involved. So, but you're saying some of the remixes that they're gonna come out on this vinyl would be some stuff that we've never heard.
People, you've probably heard them because they were on the 12 inches, like the Let Me Be the One, Untouchables remix. We got the Ribbon in the remix. We got Come Inside has a couple different mixes on it. And then there's other songs in the vault that I can't disclose. And I also can't speak for the label, but I'm grateful for you know, them teaming up with the remaining members of Intro to make this happen. And to me, it's really a big deal because I had always, probably for the last 5 years, I've been talking about, man, I wish we could just put out some vinyl records. And now that vinyl is like the #1 selling thing. And we have the people on board. It's actually right now it's going down. So I'm so happy. It's in the plant right now in Holland or the Netherlands, one of the two. It's just,
would this be Warner actually doing the vinyl? So you guys not doing it independently? The Warner actually doing the vinyl?
We're not doing this independently. It's too big for me to handle it independently. Like I would do it independent. I've done independent releases on other songs, but the Intro catalog, you know, I'm smart enough to know is bigger than me. So I'm not gonna experiment on putting out records on that catalog and water it down. I want it done right. Jeff wants it done right, and Kenny would want it done right. So it's going to be done right.
I mean, for those of you who didn't get to watch my first interview with Buddy, I don't know how many. They had probably 20 tracks that they sent over to Atlantic, which is Warner, and it was like, yeah, you pick the songs, and Supercats had to do the picking.
There we go. I did tell you that story. Because I was thinking about that story the other day. I said, you know what? I got this dope interview coming up, and I'm going to mention. So for people.
So I think his phone rang, but he's coming back in. So what happened? Anyway, he's going to retell the story. Okay, here you go. Go ahead.
Yeah. Some people may not have heard the story. So what happened was we was at Eddie F's house, and Supercat was there doing his song that he did with Eddie F. And we ended up out on the deck in the backyard, and Eddie started playing the records. He's like, yo, let's pick the songs for the album. And we went through all of these songs, and it was the original Don Dada Supercat that was like, yeah, I'm on this one right here, put this one right there. It was like, so our first album, the format was actually picked by reggae artist Supercat.
So he was the A&R for the album.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to him. But then, you know, one of the things we said is that you guys recorded so many tracks, and it was like, whatever happened to them? I mean, you probably had, you know, between listening to people like Mookie and others, it seems as if you guys probably had 5 albums worth worth of songs, but we only had 2 albums from you guys.
5 or more. Those songs, we still have them. We have them on 2-inch reel. We have them on DAT. We have them on CDs. And, you know, when the time is right, right now, the time is not right. They're still marinating. As much as people hit us, oh, give me that record, put me on, give me this record, send me that record, send me that record. It's just not time. It's just not time. And I'm like, don't rush us. Like, no one would rush Steven Spielberg on making his next movie. If it took him 15 years to make his next movie, they would wait for it. So hopefully, you know, we're getting in that same vein. We're not holding it on purpose to make people wait. It's just not time. You have to have the proper vehicle to release songs. Because I always hear artists say, oh, yo, I'm dropping a single. But dropping a single is just dropping a single. You got to have a good setup and you got to have a following. And it got to go in the right hands, the right places. You know, I'm not telling you nothing. You're one of the biggest, you know, interviewers that's out right now. So, and you get to speak to all the different artists, and I'm sure they all have the same story.
Yeah, but not many of them are doing what you guys are doing, because you guys had, I mean, you guys were self-contained. I mean, you're part of the Untouchables, but, you know, you guys were writing and singing. I mean, you know, all the tracks you guys had. So you guys had so much stuff that we didn't get to see and hear. And, you know, the fact that okay, his probably his phone has come as you know, when we
as much as I've posted that I'm going to be doing an interview, there's still people calling my phone, and unfortunately it's people that's calling my phone that I'm not in the mood to talk to right now.
No, so with the vinyl, is there an estimate of how many tracks would be on you know, would it be the full album on one, and then how many remixes do you think we may get on the other side, or would there be any unreleased tracks on that vinyl?
My message to Atlantic, which was the parent company of the recordings earlier today, can you please tell us what we have in your vault that you've already paid for that we might be able to put on a new release? Because what we don't want to do is slow up the album, because right now it's slated for an October release, so we don't have time to go back in and do remixes. I would love to have, say, like Love Thing remixed by Pete Rock, or, you know, something like that. But that, you know, those take deal memos, paperwork, attorneys. Wow. So we want to release stuff that's already been paid for but hasn't been released, and then we'll start going back in and doing new deals for the other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and as I said, being self-contained, being part of the Untouchable family, you guys probably have stuff that it's probably easy to hit up Dave Hall and say, Dave, can you come and can you put something on this, and Mookie and the rest of them.
We were in the studio this past weekend with Kenny Smooth, who produced Anything for You. He did Touch Me, Tease Me for Case. He did the Change Your Faces records. They were signed him. And it just seemed like the creative part of this journey is never going to stop. We don't know when it's going to stop.
But you've also been in the studio doing stuff as well.
Mm-hmm. We've got some songs. We have enough songs for, like I said, like countless albums. Some of our latest releases, we just did a Dynamite song with Horace Brown. I combined it through Pro Tools. I was able to combine Horace Brown and Kenny Greene's voices in one session, and their blend is phenomenal. I really wish they would have got a chance to do records when Kenny was alive. The creative part of this is honestly, it's so much fun. It's the easy part. It's connecting. And that's why I'm thanking you for sharing your platform with us. And yeah, the music is here. The music is ready. It's marinating. It's in the warmer, you know.
So Zach, did he just say Pete Rock remixes in an intro track, or is it that Pete Rock hasn't done one, but you'd want to be able to get him to do one?
Yes, you know, Pete Rock is from the Untouchables as well.
Oh, yes.
Pete Rock is his family as well. Pete Rock, CL Smooth. Yep.
Okay, but he hasn't done a track, the remix yet, but it's something that you guys could talk about.
No, we haven't talked about it. I was using it as an analogy, but that would be on one of my lists. We would love to have a remix from Pete Rock. Pete Rock is, you know, Pete Rock.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I think another question a lot of people have asked is about the what happens with, because when I spoke with Timmy Gatlin from Guy, they've now got their masters from the first two Guy albums. What about you guys at Intro? After this release, would Atlantic and Warner Brothers say, "Okay, guys, here's your masters. Now you can do what you want," or has that been done, or what's the deal?
Well, contractually, you have to do that in your 32nd year, and it has to be done within that 32nd year. It can't be done in the 31st year. It can't be done in the 33rd year. So we still have 2 more years to request our masters, and depending on what's going there, we may just do another deal with them so that they can keep them and keep the album going. Because what it looks like, and this is not like self-credit is no credit, but to me, it seems like the album is not stopping. And I'm not saying it because I hear it at a party or I hear it at on the radio. I'm looking at the paperwork from the statements that are coming in, and the album's picking up 30 years later. The album is actually doing, I want to say, if not as good or almost better than it was during its release, because we were released before the internet. There was no IG, no Facebook. It was AOL. And like the internet came on after the album was released. I remember getting a computer and sitting at home and me calling people, "Yo, look, I can talk to people on the computer." I'm sending little instant messages through AOL, and that was almost at the beginning of the second album.
So right now the plan is just to release the debut album, the intro album, and then they may be talk on New Birth.
No, there's songs. It's going to be 2 discs, one orange and one green, and it's going to be in the same sleeve though. So when you buy the original album, you're going to also have all these goodies in the vinyl package with them.
Wow.
What those goodies are right now, I'm still not sure, because I've just asked this morning, what else do we have in our vault that we could add on without going through any new contracts, anything. So we're just waiting on word from that, and let's see what pops in October. It's also my birthday month, so let's go.
So for the question for those of us who might not have vinyl, I mean, CDs seem to be getting popular as well. And then, there's digital, and there's also YouTube. I mean, is Warner going to go full out with this and do like, okay?
Warner. I wish I could speak for Warner. I wish I could speak for Warner. I don't know what their expectations are. I wish I could speak for them, but I'm going to stay in my place and let them do what they do. So far, so good. Anything we've called and asked for, they've been blessed, and they've been so cooperative. Like, yeah, let's do that. Let's do this. Let them know we can do this. Let us know what's going on. We'll send the paperwork. We'll send approval. And I can shout out some names, but it's a lot of artists out there. If I shout these names out at Warner Music Group, their emails will be so flooded tonight.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let Intro do what they're doing, and then I will be not reaching back, but everybody that works with me, all the artists and every I have so many friends in the business. They know that I share the wealth and I share the love, but you got to have your situation established first before you can give it out and water it down. And a lot of times you bring in bad energy. It could be some of your best friends, and you don't even realize that energy is killing the project behind your back. So right now, as my guy No Hater Shall Prosper out of Texas, he has his new slogan going, protect your, let me see, what is he saying? And I was thinking about it before I said it. But anyway, protect your vibe,
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's once you guys can come out and you do it and it's done correctly, it's easy for everyone else to say, "Oh, what did you guys do?" So we can copy. But while it's still going on, it's important just to protect that. I just got to
protect your energy is what he says. Protect your energy. That's what I'm doing. I'm protecting Intro's energy.
Okay, because we're live, so I'm getting people coming. So 90s kid, in effect, actually, if you guys ever cross paths with Jodeci, I know some of the story, but you want to share about yours? Devontae and everything. Yeah,
our time coming up before Jodeci's first album came out. I remember they had the album Gotta Love. We met them through Eddie F, of course, and they lived in New Jersey. And Kenny, Jeff, along with myself, we go over Jodeci's house and play basketball with them. And Devontae be on the piano, Kenny be singing, Casey be
Wow.
singing, JoJo be on the motorcycle going to go pick up some food to come back. You know, and we actually wrote a song together called Don't Want to Fall in Love with a Stranger, but we never went into the studio to record it because Jodeci went that way and Intro went that way, because that's when our 2 albums dropped. And
yeah, and you mentioned that Devante actually also wanted to sign you to his deal, but this was after you'd already been signed up as.
Yeah, we had already went to Eddie, but we did talk about signing to Swing Mall. The roster, he had so many people on the roster. It was, nobody seemed like they had to wait around. Devontae did a great job of getting his artists out. Genuine, Missy Elliott,
Timberland,
yeah. Genuine. All of those people came up under his umbrella. And Intro could have came up under that umbrella, but at the time that the umbrella was open, we were already doing our own thing, and it wouldn't have really made too much sense to sign to another artist when we already had the attention of the major label.
Yeah, but I mean, people are commenting about Dave Hall, but you guys were, the Untouchables had, unsung producers that people just didn't realize how, the impact. I mean, Dave Hall's probably one of the biggest ones, but the most quiet hip producer that's out there. But Novell was massive.
Hodge, Eddie
yeah, Kenny Smooth. Yeah, I mean, Eddie is Eddie, but it's all the people.
Spunk Bigger, Kenny Tong. It was so many.
And then the fact that you guys were there just with the pen writing, so it was just an amazing chemistry.
If Untouchables wasn't so dope, I probably would have produced the Intro album, because when we came to Eddie, the songs that we brought to Untouchables, I had produced them. So that was my job in Intro, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not really singing leads on the first album and stuff, because I was fine with just being a producer, but I didn't want to tie myself into an artist deal and a production deal at the same time. And with their music being so dope, it wasn't a problem with me just falling back, being an artist and learning what it was to be an artist. Because as I was going through the first album, I was learning so much.
Yeah, the question that I've asked before, but for those who are watching, and I asked this question to Lily, is that I always wonder, Kenny is, as I said, if he was still around, he probably would have regarded him as one of the greatest. But unfortunately, after 2 albums, we didn't get much of his vocals. But then I do wonder if it was the same case where the labels were pushing the big gospel lead singers like Aaron Hall and Casey and Coco, that they said, okay, Buddy, Jeff, we don't really, let's just use the power ballads, the power vocals. Or did you ever think about, let me also do 1 or 2 songs so that it's, we're sharing the load in the first album?
I saw that happening. That was actually happening. And Kenny was pushing back from it. They took him to different labels. He honestly didn't want to do it. I got in his ear and told him to do it, because I knew if he did it, then he would let me produce on his album. Because that was our chemistry from day one, like the songs, the melodies, so I was actually pushing him to do it. He just didn't want to do it. He just didn't want to do it. I think it was one label that was setting him up to be, I want to say it was Kenny Latimer's slot. That slot that he had on that label, I think they was preparing that situation for Kenny Greene, but he didn't want it. I don't know what the label is, but this is stories that I've heard. It's not firsthand information. I wasn't in the meetings. Kenny didn't tell me this. I learned this after his passing. But yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, because he's celebrated as a writer, but as a lead singer, and with the group. But I do wonder if he was, there's a comfort about being within a group and being able to shine, but not have the whole spotlight on you. And I wonder if he just didn't, there was so much going on that if he thought that actually, let me just, I mean, I've got a good thing happening, with you guys, and I don't know, were you yourself and Jeff, you guys weren't upset with him being the lead singer?
Absolutely not. No way. No way. Yo, I was like, I tell people this all the time. I was in intro, but I was also, a fan of intro. I enjoy listening to intro's music, and I'm absolutely singing on the albums and everything. But what I can do today, I couldn't do in '93. I was learning, and as I was learning, I was being entertained, and we had a lot of fun together. We traveled the world. We went to Russia and Germany and UK. We got a chance to travel all these places as a group, and the energy was just fun. We were like brothers, and had Kenny splintered off and did a solo album, I'm pretty sure Jeff and myself would have still been a part of that project in some form or another, because we weren't just put together like a group. Somebody want to put a group together. I'm gonna get you from here. I'm gonna get you from here. We came to the industry. We came to the industry with no bargains. Everybody talk about, oh, you got to do this. You got to sell your soul. You got to do that. We didn't have to do nothing. We just had to present our music, and being that we were doing something that was a little different than everything that was already going on, that's what caught their attention. And I think we bypassed a lot of the BS of, this and that. And, nobody ever came at us with no nonsense.
Before we started, somebody asked who was the female on Come Inside?
That's Sabrina Morrison. Her name is Sabrina Morrison. Dynamic vocalist. Actually, Atlantic Records wanted to sign her, and we would have worked with her to where she would have been on a level like Atlantic Records, Mary J. Blige. That's how dope she is. I'm not gonna say was. That's how dope she is. Her name is Sabrina Morrison. She's in the album credits. She's from Brooklyn, New York. I haven't spoke to her in years and years and years, but she does deserve her flowers, because when that song comes on, the ladies are singing it. And I think they think that it's Mary J. Blige, but it's actually Sabrina Morrison.
Okay, yeah. Some people said Mary, some people said Lisa Fisher, but it's because she didn't, we didn't get to,
she didn't keep going with it. I wanted her to keep going with it.
But so was she just brought in as a? Did you guys who did you guys just bring her in, or was it?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where the hell she came from. I was just happy she was there. I really don't know.
Okay.
I didn't know her prior to that.
Yeah. So that was a big thing. Before we miss it, now the documentary. So you came on 2 years ago. We talked. You said it. You're going to have a documentary. We saw the trailer, and then people who are catching up with interviews every week would be, "Hey, where's this documentary? Where's this documentary?" And so,
guess what I tell them? It's coming. I promise you, it's coming. I know. So watch. Probably by like next week sometime, it's going to be on something. I can't tell you when, but it's coming. It's coming soon. There's some licensing issues, even though it's our documentary and it's our music in the documentary. We still have to license that music to use it, because it's not a Warner Music project. We actually paid for that project out of our pocket. We filmed the documentary with our own money. So trying to have complete ownership, you got to go through the right channels, because you don't want to do all of this work and then have it shut down. So it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. I mean, has it been, are you filming new parts? Is it going to be edited?
It's actually ready. It's ready to go. We're just clearing the licensing now. And I think it's perfect timing with the album coming in October, the 30th year. Yeah, I'm definitely not doubting the process. Shout out to Jason Evans, 360 Films, Flicks Films. He definitely knows what he's doing.
Yeah. So. I mean, I saw a preview of it, and it was really awesome. And so, and
you have to watch the whole thing yet?
No, I did
tonight. Tonight, I'm going to send you the entire documentary, so you can check it out, and I'll send you the password. So when people ask you about it, you can give them a little more. I see there's questions being asked down here, but I don't. I can't see that.
Okay, so 90s Kid says, I've got a question for Buddy. So I'm trying to comment as a singer, and I want to make an industry, and I want to know how to avoid the pressures of drinking, smoking, and not being corrupt. I mean, how do you stay focused?
Well, if you really want to do what you're doing, like singing is like being in the gym. If I spin this camera around in my studio, it's a little I'm not gonna say junky, but that's my gym side over there. Like this is my music side, Right on this side over here, I have my workout bench. I have my weights, my punching bags, my balls, all of that stuff. Because it's not just singing. It's like a lifestyle. And by doing that, you won't want to drink. You won't want to hang out and smoke, because when you come back in here, you're going to be paying for it, vocally and physically. So, I mean, it's up to you. It's a time and place for everything. You know, we hang out. People will see us with a drink in our hand every now and then, but that's not our driving force. And you can't let it be, because alcohol is a derivative, and it dries your vocal cords. It dries you out. It dehydrates you. So you want to stay, I'm 57 years old. I'm not ashamed of my age, and I'm not 57 being able to hit the road every weekend and, and do these things because I party hard. There's times that I do party though, but I party hard. I actually broke my finger trying to work out this summer. I was trying to get some muscles. So, I had post-op today.
We got China Beat asked, what do you think about happened to the male R&B groups in today's era? Because there are not as many of the females that seem to still be holding it down.
Well, commercially, it's about the trap rapper at this point right now. Commercially, it's their time, and shout out to all of them. I applaud them for all that they're doing. But in that scenario right there, a lot of male R&B groups I think they gave up. There was a time when people wasn't calling Jeff and myself, and I never said we gave up, but we gave up on touring. We kind of gave up on reaching out. But in the midst of doing that, we continued to build up our catalog, and we stayed together. Like, we live 10 minutes apart. So it's easy for us to stay together and work and meet at the airport, go out, come back home, boom. As opposed to, you have some groups, you got one guy that lives in LA, one guy that lives in New York, one guy that lives in Atlanta. It's impossible. You gotta have a bond, like a brother bond.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey D, it's good to see. Got a question. Let me see now. So they said you guys are going to be in Durham
this weekend coming up. We're going to be in Durham, North Carolina. It's the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and doing hip hop R&B has allowed us to mix and mingle in the 50th anniversary. So this Saturday, we will be in Durham, North Carolina with KRS-One and Mr. Cheeks.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Come on out.
You were supposed to do something with the Lost Boys and Horace, like a family stuff. Is that
still... we got them. It's in the computer right here. It's here. I promise you, it's here. It's here. One song is called Ladies. That's with Cheeks, Horace in the intro. What's another one called? I could give the titles without giving the vibe. I Can't Wait to Get Home. It's some really good stuff. Shout out to Mr. Cheeks and the Lost Boys.
Yeah, so if people don't know, I mean, so Horace's family,
Horace is their family. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The documentary. What's it? Madden Gamer saying how hard is it to get the rights to music in a documentary, and just the
costs money. It costs money, and I'll tell you, it costs for us to license our music. It's over the $15,000 mark, but it's not just the money part of it. We have the money. It's the politics, and you have to reach out to every single producer, every single writer, and get their permission, because it's a part of their intellectual rights. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's especially in this day and age. Now, are you still? You surprised me when we interviewed, where you said, and most of us didn't realize, but Buddy was with the NYPD.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still with the NYPD, or have you retired?
Let me tell you about that. A lot of people don't know, and a lot of people didn't know. I didn't even tell Jeff when I went into the academy. I'm in my 19th year working. I can't technically mention. You're right. I'm there, but we have a department within the department that I have to go through before I can speak about that on social media. But I can tell you this: my job there now is phenomenal. I'm teaching kids music at 127 Pennsylvania Avenue in East New York, the neighborhood that I grew up in. It's called the NYPD Community Center. And when I go in there and I see those kids coming in, I see myself at their age coming in, and I know what it took for me to stay out of trouble, and I'm there to share that with them. And there's some really good talent in here. There's some talent in here. It's a girl named Mia Bella. Man, if I could get her to Sylvia Roan, oh my God. Sylvia, if somebody gets you this interview, I got this 13-year-old girl out of East New York. Her name is Mia Bella. She's the most phenomenal female vocalist I've ever heard. And as a 13-year-old, when she's in the vocal booth, she's like, no, I hear another note on that. No, I want to do a different riff. And then she kills it. I'm like, what is she going to be doing when she's 16, 17? So yeah, I want to nurture her. I already took up to Atlantic Records and they handed her some cards, but it's not that time yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, this reminds me
I
of
got that from working in the NYPD Community Center, working with the kids. I don't even call them at-risk kids. They're just kids that come in and they record songs. We have a big event coming up on June 14th. We have the NYPD Jazz Band coming to 127 Pennsylvania Avenue at 7 p.m. And it's free admission. Anybody that's watching an interview here in New York, come on in, listen to some real live jazz music. It's a full jazz orchestra. I'm also one of the singers in that.
Okay.
Shout out to them, NYPD Jazz Band.
So when we interviewed, you said you were getting ready to retire. So it seems if you decided to extend.
I got a second win, man. I'm ready to go. I really want to go a few more years with this and give back to the kids in the community now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got a question from Tim Beaters. What album do you prefer? The debut album, the self-titled album, or New Life? Which is your favorite?
In the club, I prefer the first album. In my car, I prefer the second album.
Okay, very definitely very diplomatic. And you know, we spoke about the challenges of New Life and how what it means with Kenny later on. How has it been for you and Jeff performing without no Kenny there? But I know there's a time that you were thinking about getting a third member, and the dynamics didn't work out with just someone else coming in. So who takes the vocals of those main vocals that Kenny used to do when you guys are performing?
Well, we split them up and we perform the songs where they're comfortable. It's not like you're gonna hear something that you don't know what it is, and we split it up. We do what works best for us. Like Jeff will kill Love Thing, I'll do Let Me Be the One. We'll split Come Inside, I'll do Ribbon in the Sky, and it's getting better and better and better. And everyone knows when they come to the shows, Kenny's not going to be there, and they still come, and they I guess they're happy to see that we showed up, and we do our best. We do our best, and it's believable. When I look back at the shows, like we did Donnell Jones' 50th birthday party on this past Saturday night in Atlanta, and if you interview anybody that was there, I'll let them tell you, as far as InTro's performance, because I'm big on self-credit is no credit. But it's been working. It's been working to where the promoters are still calling us to come out and do what we do. And every time I step on the stage, I think, what would Kenny do? What would he add here? What would he do there? So it's never like, okay, Kenny's not here, now it's time for us to take over the show. That's never going to happen. We're going to always keep that same integrity that he had when he was the lead singer in the group.
Yeah. No, as I said, it's people might I think of Kenny and I think of people like Freddie Mercury. I think about how just the power and the vocals, but also it's because when you guys came out, that R&B over hip hop was still was fairly different and fairly new, and so it's but unfortunately, as much as you guys had a massive, major debut album, it didn't get pushed by Atlantic, you know, the old Atlantic people, not the new people now, as
Mhm.
much as it probably should be. And I think that probably, because, you know, that album should be much, much bigger and should have gone double platinum at least.
The politics killed that album. And, you know, I'll leave it right there. The politics killed that album. With the success of the first album, once the budget for the second album came in, everybody just came from everywhere and they just wanted a piece of the pie. And, you know, but my solace in it was that Kenny's dad passed away, and I was okay with just letting him. I was okay with just falling back and just letting him write the song and dedicate it to his father. And you know, no regrets, no
Yeah.
regrets.
But you didn't realize what he was going through when he was writing some of the songs. So you didn't realize some of that might be about himself saying goodbye to you guys.
It was a lot. If you listen to it, if I listen to it now, you know, that he's passed away, I'll always hear something different, like a different message in it. And he used to say things to me to let me know that even like today in 2023, we would be all right. And he'd be like, you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see, watch, you'll see. Okay, you'll see. He used to always say that. And I never knew what he was talking about, but he was so far in the future, you know, that he saw what it took time for us to see.
Yeah.
And we're just starting to see it.
Yeah. I mean, for those guys who didn't get to listen to the first interview, I mean, Buddy met Kenny in the army, and he was, you know, they were winning every competition in and around the town, and then you actually flew back to the south to get him, you know, to say that we should form a group, and he wasn't. It wasn't something that he was even thought about and stuff.
I didn't fly back. I called him and he came back.
Okay.
I called him.
Okay.
And he left a message on the answering machine. Well, it wasn't even a message on the answering machine. I saw on my call ID, it was a number from Detroit, and it was like 2:00 in the morning. So I called the next day, and it was him. And like the day after, he came back to North Carolina, and maybe 2 days later, we got back in the car and we were out. We came to New York, and you know, I'm not proud of it, but I actually went AWOL for a few days to get the project going. And I felt bad for so long because I'm a Gulf War veteran as well. Not a lot of people don't know, but I'm also a disabled war veteran and from the Gulf War. And I felt bad having to do that. And then later on in life, I found out that Walt Disney did the exact same thing. So that kind of gave me a peace of mind.
Wow.
Yep.
You didn't get discharged or anything like that. You didn't get court-martialed.
Mm-hmm. No disabled. No dishonorable discharge, no court martial. I stayed in touch with them to let them know that I was coming back. It's not like I just jumped ship and went to disappear, but I had to take care of some business for Sergeant Wike, you know, because I knew it was going to be life after the military. And had I not done it at that point, that window of opportunity would have closed and they would have signed another group.
Yeah. I mean, so he and then the other part of it is that when they saw Heavy D, they sat for him in the bathroom.
Yeah,
and he
for Heavy in the bathroom.
And he called on, and Heavy D told Eddie F to you know, to listen to you guys and stuff, and the rest is different history. The Grime one said, how did the song "Try My Love" with Shinehead come about? Was there something to do with Supercat or someone else?
Shinehead was at the Playground, which was Eddie F's studio, recording "Try My Love." And we were staying at the Playground working on our album. So while he was there working on some songs, it's like, well, why don't we have Intro sing the hook on the song? So we sang the hook, "Try My Love, if you try my love." And he decided to use that as his first single. I remember them calling us and said, yo, he wants to shoot a video for the song. And we had never shot a music video before. So we were mad excited. And I think in the video, he wanted us to be just laid back intro. If you try my love, but we had never been in a video before, so if you watch that video, we're jumping all around, clowning. If you try my love, because we thought that's what we were supposed to do. We didn't know any better. We hugging each other, jumping in the it was crazy. Shout out to Shinehead. I spoke to Shinehead. He performed in Central Park not too long ago, and we almost got to perform with him. But on the day that I spoke to him, it was the day of the event. And we were already booked up. We already had something else to do that we couldn't get out of.
Wow.
Yep.
Got Me Under Your Spell and Love Is Here. Um,
I
any
produced those records.
okay. I
Yeah.
mean, how did they come about? I mean, did you?
That's where we were. That's what we was doing. We would go into studio in the barracks. We used the studio in Coney Island. We would go to Jannard Parker. Shout out to Jannard Get Paid Parker. We would go to Jannard Parker's studio and just work on songs. And there was a guy who had a record label, and he wanted to put those out as singles. He never paid us for them, but you know they're out there now. Anybody want to go back and listen to some really early intro? You know, they can check out Under Your Spell and Love Is Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the question I had? I mean, the other question that I did have was, did you ever find it challenging for people finding the name of your group because it's called Intro? So when you search Intro, you know, unless you put R&B, it can be hard to track.
Yeah, we do get lost in that. When I look for it, I always have to tell people you have to put intro R&B, because if you put intro, you're going to get the intro to everything. It's so
Yeah.
wide.
But why did the name come? Who came up with the idea for Intro?
I actually popped across the name because I had a Motown album. It said Motown's greatest hits. It said Smokey Robinson. It said Intro, Smokey Robinson. Intro, Stevie Wonder. Intro, Diana Ross. Intro, The Temptations. I was like, who in the hell is Intro? How did they get a chance to work with all of these people? Where's Intro's album? I learned that it was the intro to the song. It wasn't actually a group called Intro. So we became my favorite group that I never met before because they never existed.
Okay.
Yep. And then Kenny came up with an acronym, Innovative New Talent Reaching Out, which was amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
That's what we were doing at the time.
Yeah. I mean, for yourself, then, if you were to look back at, say, let's think about in a year's time. You know, you've had your birthday. Atlantic have put out the vinyl. What would you think you guys would be doing this time next year?
The vinyl tour.
And is that with Horace and the Lost Boys? Is just, I mean, as a family, or is it, how would you guys do it?
Right now, I'll put it out there because I really want it to happen. Most likely, it's going to be Intro, Horace Brown, Mr. Cheeks, and Gina Thompson.
Oh, Gina.
Yep, that's the lineup that I'm working on now. We actually have our first show with Gina coming up, I believe, August 5th in the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you come? Okay.
We'll be back. We'll be right back.
Yeah, you guys came the last time, and I only found out the day you were leaving that you showed up and stuff. But so at least this time, at least. Okay, so you're coming. Oh, but how did you guys get to connect with Gina?
We linked with Gina. I spoke to Gina Thompson years ago, but Cameron Haley out of Atlanta, he's a new artist that's coming up. He actually reconnected us, and we spoke on the phone. And you know, her and her husband, who's a road manager, you know, they're working on some really good things, and her music is great. You know, she has more than just one song. People know the things we do, but she also has some dope ballads as well. Yada yada yada. You know, check out Gina Thompson music.
Yeah, no. So she's been here twice, and we just recently, just as she's releasing her new, you know, just got signed up and releasing. So we went live with her and stuff. So definitely glad to see that that she's, you know, being, you know, getting back into touring as well and supporting you guys. I wonder if it's possible if a new version of You Would Know could ever come up. I mean, but do you guys ever talk with others and say, can we do these, you know, do something like that?
I do. One of the things with the You Will Know song, it was a collaboration put together by D'Angelo and Brian McKnight. And the name of the project was You Will Know, and the group was Black Men United.
Yeah.
Coming back and trying to put that project together, unfortunately, I realized how divided we are.
Wow.
You know, so it's kind of like a hard thing to put together, but I still have faith in it that it could happen. We have some dynamite songs. We actually started working on the Black Men United album. We have some phenomenal songs. I got a song from Rough Ends. I got a song from Soul For Real. I got a song from Shy, you know, but I want to say it's bigger than me. And some people did say, well, why you, Buddy? Why? Well, let me speak to Brian and see if he wants to do it. Well, it's been over 20 years and nobody's done anything. We've had a single. How many artists get a chance to perform at the American Music Awards and then just go ghost? You know, it doesn't even have to be all 50 people on stage. It could be 3 or 4 groups right now. As long as you're united, you don't even have to be Black. It's called Black Men United. You don't have to be Black. That's just the name of the project.
But who owns that? Does anyone own that sort of the name to the banner of that?
That's so big. That's so much bigger than me. Like, I have so much respect for Brian McKnight and D'Angelo that I won't even go and search that out. So the wording might have to be a little bit different, like the goats or something, you know. But the concept, I would love to see a concept of an album of all of the 90s album, not just the 90s artists. I got friends from the 80s. I'm friends with Alexander O'Neal. I'm friends with D-Train. I'm friends with, you know, a lot of those guys from the 80s as well.
Yeah, but you know that there is such a thing of that. You know, when we reflect on, I mean, Jason's Lair was an amazing film, but when we reflect on the unity of brothers, you know, Middleman March and all that stuff, it's something that unity keeps us, you know, it was powerful. And when we saw our favorite artists, male, especially male, standing forward as united and singing, you know, that was always a powerful thing. And we don't seem to get enough of those type of collaborations. So Intro, Horace Brown, Shy, just all coming together and just saying, you know, a song, you know, Black History, Black Music Month. We're gonna do a song for, you know, to, you know, stop the violence kind of thing, or you know, being a police officer. Just, you know, there can be a misconception about.
You're gonna get me beat up. You're gonna get me beat up out there on these streets talking about police officers. I'm Buddy from Intro right now. I'm Buddy from Intro. New York streets are tough right now, man.
Yeah, but I'm saying
concert.
But I'm just saying about just the sense of just speaking, just being able to promote positivity.
I'm proud of what I do. On the Lord, I'm proud of what I do.
Yeah, but singing about positivity, I mean, that those are things that we kind of miss, and sometimes, you know, people might think, oh, who's paying for this? You know, I'm sure a label and the movie came together and everyone came through, but you know, to out of your own pockets to go into the studio and record a song and put it out there, you know, I don't know how many people are going to be willing to take on that leap if there's no real financial benefit.
One of the good things we can do now, because when we recorded, you will know, we all had to fly out to Los Angeles, and they put us all in the studio in the Capitol Records building. Now we can just email each other the stems and add them to the song. So it can happen. Technically, it can happen, but it just has to be the right energy. I'm all about energy. I don't want to put all this work into a project and then it just set dormant and nothing happens with it. It's stuff like that. It's heartbreaking to me, especially when it comes to music.
Yeah. What is your favorite music video that you guys did?
For me, it was Come Inside.
Okay.
Yeah. Come Inside. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, you guys, I don't, but what is your favorite intro track?
Let Me Be the One, then Come Inside.
Okay.
Yep.
Let Me Be the let me see. You know, yes. I mean,
do you know how the song goes? You need me to hum a little bit of it. Let me be.
Yeah, I know the track. Let Me Be the One. No, but it was more of a slow song. I'd have just lost it.
Not Living in the Sky.
No,
it feels like the first time.
Feels like the first time.
A lot of people are gonna think Feels Like the First Time is my favorite video because I was getting kind of freaky in the Range Rover with the girl there. It looked, you know, it got a little heated in there. But no,
but it's song wise though. That's probably. I mean, I love the song. It's the melody of that track. I thought that. Yeah, that's my favorite intro track. Is Feels Like the First Time.
Okay.
That you know, others like Funny How Time Flies when we're making fun. I mean, as I say, when we're naming some of these tracks, and it's like of an album that came out 30 years ago, but it's because it was different, it was unique, and you know, as I said, it was something that we weren't getting, and I know that some others would say, I mean, who else was doing hip hop soul at the time outside of Mary? I mean, even Jodeci weren't doing hip hop soul; they were doing just strict R&B.
Who else was doing Force MDs? They were doing some hip hop soul. That's it.
112. Did they come? Were they similar to what you guys were doing?
The guys on 112 told me that they sung our version of "Ribbon in the Sky" for Puffy when they auditioned for him. So they came after us. 112. Yeah, you had a whole second wave of R&B artists. You had 112. You had Jagged Edge. You had Next. You have
Silk. Was Silk around your time?
Silk came out the same time as us. Yeah. Silk, we came out at exactly the same time. This is their 30th anniversary as well.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, right now, if people want to follow and get updates as to, you know, tours and updates on where they can get the vinyls when it comes out, what's the best place to follow and to keep up with information?
That's a great question, and we've been so busy. We're about to hire some people to run that social media thing for us because we have about 3 or 4 different Instagram accounts. Like TN07 has been like the spear on where people can go, like, you know, to find intro with the Kenny Greene page and stuff. You know, I just learned that she was behind that. I thought it was some random person. I just learned recently that she's the person behind that. She was doing that quietly. I knew she was posting stuff on TN07, but the Kenny Greene stuff is where all the meat is going. And I'm like, where do you find this stuff? So go there, go to Buddy Wike Music, Jeff Sanders, but just don't give up on us. You'll find us because we're gonna be around. Just search us out. You'll find us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, guys. So Jeff was due to come in, but he had a prior appointment, so that's why he's not here. So, and actually, it was, you know, which is because Jeff and Jeff and Buddy, you know, so people, you know, back in COVID when we were all on Instagram and Jeff was saying we're split up and stuff, and then they resolved things. They've come back, did the documentary together.
Oh yeah, always.
They're touring. Yeah, so as I said, they live about 10 minutes away, and if you search for you can search for Donnell's 50th birthday party, you'd see them both performing as well. So, and that's always good to see. Yeah, this is Tanya sending her love too. Yeah, so she's a massive Untouchables. So every Heavy D and the Boys and Intro, just pushing the stuff out and making sure people don't sleep on you guys and definitely the music as well. So as I said, Instagram is generally the main place, or even Facebook.
If they want to book us, they can holler at Sonia France. Let me see. Who, I don't want to forget anybody on reaching out to the group. I mean, we're there. We're easy to find. We're kind of like too accessible, if you ask me, but it doesn't bother me because, you know, what you give, we give back. So let's go. Let's get it.
I saw you with Jadakiss and recently. He's talking about what was happening.
That was so dope. Back to Sonia French. She books Beanie Siegel and the State Property guys. So they were performing at the Barclays Center. So she asked me and Jeff if we wanted to come down and hang out with them. And
my
chance of meeting Beanie Siegel. So there's talks about us doing a record with State Property now. Wow. And Jadakiss was back there. I had a chance to meet Scarlett. She's an up and coming rapper. She just signed to Epic with oh my God. I know Sylvia Rone signed her.
Wow.
Who's my guy? Swiss Beats. She signed to Swiss Beats. Swiss Beats got her nice deal at Epic. She's coming. And we were there. We got a chance to meet all the rappers and just being around them and kicking it with Jadakiss. You know, Jadakiss is from up in the area where we recorded the album, and it was short but cool. You know, I didn't want to take up too much of their time, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of stuff that you guys have going on is just, I guess, finding the right type of balance and finding the right type of stuff. I mean, if you're releasing stuff, I mean, is it, you know, the vinyl stuff is different because that's a lot of investment going in and the quality is with that. But for the other releases, you know, the last time we were on, you played some unreleased tracks. So you had Kenny singing and stuff. I mean, when you have all that music, you know, everyone sucks about, yeah, we've got some intro here, we got some intro there.
Maybe I'll do listening events where people could come out and just listen to the new music, and then I'll leave with it. Because there is a demand for it, but it's coming. I promise you it's coming. I promise you. I wouldn't tell you. You're sharing your platform with me. I wouldn't lie to them. It's definitely coming.
Yeah. I mean, so guys, I mean, definitely, hopefully, by this October, we should have some idea about the intro documentary.
You're going to have information tonight because I'm going to send you the link where you can watch the whole thing.
Yeah, but just because many fans would, you know, definitely have been asking about that, so that'll be great just for them to be able to know that, you know, it's definitely later this year. It should finally come out, especially as you celebrate 30 years. The guys are touring, and I think the vinyl would be an amazing thing. I would hope Warner puts it on digital platforms because, you know, there's a generational thing. So now there's a generation that are buying the vinyls, but I've noticed that there's also another group that just seems to go on YouTube and just listen, because it's just, you know, that the streaming services, unless you subscribe to all of them, you know, you may not just be able to get all the tracks that you want. So hopefully Warner Brothers caters for everyone and says, okay, we're going to upload it on YouTube, on all the other streaming services,
you know what?
But also,
I just thought about something. While I'm here, I want people to check out our merch store. We got a merch store right now that's good, that's jumping off. And I would not be doing a good service. I want people to check out Embellished Boutique, and that's spelled EMMEBELLIS.
Oh, it seems as if so. What's happening is that as he's talking,
I'm back. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm back. It's a busy time, but yeah, Embellished Boutique, EMMEBELLISHED Boutique. And I know that today's my dad's birthday, so I'm gonna have to run. Happy birthday, Dad! I love you. My father's 78 today. He's my best friend. He's my big dog, and I promised a couple of things. So
yeah. So Embellished Boutique. If we go to that site, is that, you know, do search for intro?
You'll see the merch. You'll see the intro merchandise right there. They ship worldwide.
Okay. Yeah. So, guys, hopefully when the documentary is about to be released, we'll have both Jeff and Buddy and probably the film director back on. So just give us a you know, just to share an update on that. But also when the vinyl is released later this year, we'll probably have you guys back as well. So hopefully at the same time. But definitely appreciate you coming in. Pity we couldn't get Jeff, but we'll hopefully get him again. And thanks, guys, for all the questions and all those people who have dropped in.
Thank you to send everybody that's been following us for the past 30 years. Thank you, and thank you, Nadeem, for sharing your platform with us. Halftime Chat is one of my favorite shows.
I appreciate it. Okay, buddy. We'll
see you August 5th.
Yes. Now I know that you guys are coming in, so yes, I'll definitely make sure we'll catch up and stuff. All right, take care.
Peace and
okay, guys. Thank you, guys. Thanks, you guys, for joining in. You know, and hopefully, as I said, we can celebrate intro. You know, it's good the fact that they've got Warner Brothers behind them, supporting them, and stuff like that. So this is so they are coming to the UK in August, but they are doing some tours around the UK. So search them out on Instagram and Facebook. and I'll catch you next time with another live broadcast interview. I can't say who it is right now, but when it does get set up, I'll push it out. But thanks for all the support. Black Music History Month, which started back in 1979, is throughout the month of June, and I'm going to do my best to keep celebrating Black music. Take care.